Okay, joining me now is Kaylin Furtado and Mim Brooks Fawcett. Kaylin is the Community Engagement Officer for the City of Attleboro, and Mim is the Executive Director and Chief Curator of the Attleboro Arts Museum. Both women, key members of the Attleboro TDI Partnership. And you might be asking yourself, what is the Attleboro TDI Partnership? That is exactly what we're here to talk about today. In short, it is a vision of our city's future. So, let's dig in. Kaylin and Mim, thank you so much for being guests on the Life in Attleboro podcast. Mim, I'll start with you. In simple terms, what is Attleboro TDI Partnership all about?
TDI stands for Transformative Development Initiative. So once you slice through the alphabet soup and you hear that, then you get, all right, something is percolating, something's happening in the downtown. We're trying to transform, and we're really doing that. And we've been at it for, to be honest with you, Mike, I don't even know. It was before the pandemic. Okay. I'm going to say maybe 8 years. And I'm one of the founding mothers of the group, and maybe I might be the sole survivor from the original grouping that we had. But when it was pitched to me through our fellow, through the TDI fellow, and TDI is part of mass development, it was presented so that we would help to reactivate the downtown. Attleboro, as we all know, has so much potential. We're so ripe and ready for so many things. That's part of why I took my job. That's probably why, Kaylin, you can correct me, but probably why you took yours. But There's so much here. We're in such a great location. We have access to the train. We have natural resources. We have really great people who are willing to help. To make that stronger and to really activate what we have going on downtown just seemed like a natural to me. And being affiliated with the museum, which is right in the heart of downtown, right across from City Hall, we really do want the downtown business district and community to be as strong as it can be. We met a few times and we developed a work plan, and the work plan kind of is divided into 3 sections. One is to actively program our public spaces, and that's a jargony way of saying to bring great events to the downtown in existing spots that people might not visit. So that's one section of it. The other was to help small businesses, to provide them with tools and access to some funding and access to a community that would help their businesses be stronger and really build a network of entrepreneurs in the downtown. And then also to help property owners to deal with vacancy issues, to help large projects that involve properties so that resources can be allocated there and training and guidance too. And our partnership brings together people who are not the same. There's not a lot of people necessarily from the arts. There's someone involved in financial planning. There's a real estate developer. There's a real estate agent. There's small business owners. So it's great to have all these different vantage points come together.
Excellent.
To
all
make
of
it
those attributes that you mentioned about our resources, our people, our plans, really are the ingredients to taking Attleboro to that next level that we are on the brink of. And it's incredible what you and your team are doing. So thank you. Kaylin, what is your role in all of this as the city's community engagement officer?
Yeah, besides the fun of working with such a great partnership and folks like MIM and other partners at the table, my position was actually inspired from the TDI partnership. Mass Development had given technical assistance and funding opportunities to the city and to the partnership in the district. And one of them was a downtown action strategy plan. And in that plan, there was some kind of points of discussion and goals. And one of the goals that they identified was having a person who could activate the downtown as well as build up communication a little bit. My supervisor who had hired me at the time, Catherine Fierick, the economic development director, worked with the mayor and city council to create this position of someone who, as I've mentioned in the past, has the 2 hats. One is the communication side of things, and then the other one is the downtown event planning side of things. So to communicate with the downtown businesses, with the nonprofits that are there, stakeholders, but to also activate our downtown by planning events. My position really came from the TDI partnership discussions and table, and I'm hoping they accepted me with wide arms and all that fun stuff. But actively, what I've been doing is being a kind of city voice at the table, working with the other nonprofits and businesses and communicating what I see on the city side so that they have that information, but as well as just actively participating and hopefully taking what they're discussing as what they see and trying to implement that.
There are a ton of really cool events for the community that have been spread out over the days, weeks, and months for years now. So thank you. Thank you. I personally am excited about the future of downtown Attleboro. There's obviously so much potential that both of you touched on. I've noticed a lot of excellent additions already. So Mim, what goals are you and your team hoping to achieve over the next 2, 5, 10 years?
I agree on the potential. As I said before, we really are in a good position, literally and figuratively, to grow things here in Attleboro. I know from where I sit, public art has been a really big focus too. And it's interesting because that's not necessarily on its face a revenue generator. However, if people come in and they see interesting imagery and they see expressions from artistic voices in the downtown, then you get, if you see a few of those, then you get a spirit that the downtown has. And there's kind of a sense of pride and a pride of place when you see an investment of art and culture coming into the downtown in that way. So I really feel like many of the projects that we've done have created a backdrop or even like a plot point within the downtown. And that's been exciting. And that's going to continue 2, 5, 10 years for sure. And then if murals are fading, we all fade as we age, then new ones can come up. That's the beauty of public art. And it doesn't have to be a mural. It can be a sculpture. It can be a lighting installation. There's a great potential there. There's a variety is definitely the key for public art. Also, I see enhancing and growing the partnerships with the city. So the museum is a 501c3, we're nonprofit, we're a private institution. However, we love being a partner with the city of Attleboro. I work a lot with Kaylin, and I work a lot with city departments to make festivals happen and be part of all of that. It's all of us that make those things really get off the ground. I work often with Amy Rillinger, the director of the Attleboro Public Library. We work with the YMCA. We have interactions with the Council on Aging. All of these units are really helping one another. And that's the beauty of Attleboro, to long-term thinking 2, 5, 10 years, making sure that the partnerships support one another, because there's no doubt that all of us are stronger than one of us. And I think that's the way we can keep going in the future, no matter what happens.
Yeah, well said. Mim, you mentioned art and how it can be inspiring. So, Kaylin, I'm going to ask you, if others are inspired to get involved with the TDI partnership, how can they do that?
Yeah, and I think this brings to a great conversation point too, is actually TDI partnerships do have a time limit on them. They are given about 3 years. We had a fellow, Tracy Barbosa, who I'm sure you've met. She left for another position, but she was actually going to be done August of this year with her time with us. So the partnership, through a separate mass development project called Creative Catalyst, applied for funding to support a nonprofit creation and executive director hiring. So we have formed this new nonprofit called Make It Last, which will be taking on the partnership of TDI with the members that still want to continue the great work without just the TDI bubble of it all, and continuing downtown improvements. We're still in the transition phase, but anyone who's interested can reach out to the partnership members such as Mim, myself, anyone in the downtown really. Just point to Mim or myself as being the go-to before, and send us an email. We're generally walking around the streets, or you can see us in our institutions. Pop by, say hi. We'd be happy to get you involved, whether it is public space activation, whether it is business development, whether you just have some opinions and you just like for us to know.
Sounds easy enough to me. Mim, what is in the works for TDI's future? You just touched on it a little bit, but anything else specific you'd like to add?
Yeah, and Kaylin's right. We're getting to a point where our TDI affiliation, direct affiliation, is ending. However, there's a new version 2 of this that's coming up, and that is a group called Thrive Downtown Attleboro. And Make It Last, the effort that Kaylin mentioned, that is our working name. However, our doing business as name is going to be Thrive Downtown Attleboro. And there's truth in advertising in that. We really believe that downtown Attleboro can thrive. We are going to be, through a grant from Mass Development, TDI, we are going to be hiring an executive director to make what we've done in the TDI partnership last.
Gotcha.
That's where the make it last comes through. So many years have been invested through the pandemic, through thick and thin. We want to make sure that doesn't just sunset. So it is important for us to have this new version of what we're doing. And so I want folks to keep that in mind. If you start seeing Thrive downtown Attleboro, that's what you're going to see. And also, I would like to let everybody know that there are so many free things that can absolutely delight you in Attleboro that just keep your eyes and ears open and you will find them. And again, from where I sit, I'm just going to talk about art. Visit Cuddy Court, and you can probably spend 2 hours just hunting down the amazing Cuddy Court creatures by muralist Jess Tracy. In fact, Jess gives you a scavenger hunt there. You don't have to have paper. You don't have to scan anything. It's just ready and available for you. There are 21 utility boxes in this Think Outside the Box program. And a number of them, the original ones, are right in the downtown with original art from artists that work or live in Attleboro. There is a QR code on those. You can scan that QR code. You can find out about the artists. You can learn a lot. And then there's murals from GN Crew on our building and in Balfour Park. And come to the museum. It's free. We're free admission. So take advantage of the resources. I say this to my kids all the time. Take advantage of your resources because they're there. And in one way or another, they will benefit you.
Thank you, Mim. I actually interviewed one of the members who painted some of those murals on the electric boxes as part of the Empty Bowls program. So I interviewed him many episodes. Yeah, David.
Was it Dave LaFerrier?
Yep. We spoke about that. But yeah, that's another great program in the city, Empty Bowls, doing very good things. Mim, thank you for that answer. So Kaylin, I want to get back to you. Obviously, downtown district, certainly walkable, everything very close, which is nice. With all these great plans that you and Mim are discussing with us today in the works, I know that you've heard this concerning question before, but what about parking? Is there a plan to provide more parking spaces for the public in the future as well?
Parking? I don't think I've ever heard that one before, she says sarcastically, but... Yes, it's a hot topic, and it's a hot topic for business owners. It's a hot topic for the city. So some things that TDI has had direct relation with when it comes to downtown parking is we did do a parking study, which kind of mapped out where the different locations are and what the need is. That can be found on the city's economic development webpage. So if anyone's curious, wants to see the findings of that, please feel free to go to the city's website, economic development, and you can find that there. But in terms of adding parking, I am not that person, unfortunately. But what I do know is that they're working on the feasibility of maybe decking one of the parking lots. And this is in its early stages, but they are working on seeing if they can deck one of the lots, whether it's the library lot, whether it's the one by the Council on Aging, whether it's the one behind the YMCA, and just seeing if there's a possibility for that and what the structurally that will need, and just the funding, of course. But what can be added to help with parking is accessibility and something that we call wayfinding. So prior to me working here, I have never known what wayfinding was, never heard the term, never identified it. And then when I learned what it was, I saw it everywhere in different communities that I've gone to. So wayfinding is those signs that you see that navigate you around a location. So we had done with TDI, inspired again, a wayfinding study, which showed us the sign pollution we have in our downtown. You see all the signs everywhere, but a way to make it more concise and help you navigate it better. And then from there, we did a branding study. So we have our new downtown brand. We have the study of where the signs should go, which one should be taken down. With some TDI funding, we will hopefully within this next year be putting up some wayfinding that will better show you how to access the parking lots we have. There's so many different parking spots that people might not be familiar with. There's one right by Burrow Bagels on Bank Street. There's one, the parking garage that's also on Sanford Street, and just different ways to navigate it. And I think something that our TDI fellow had done that kind of helps with walking and the ease of going to a parking lot is the festoon lighting. So safety is a big concern. People don't like to park too far away from their destination. So if we can improve the safety with the lighting, we're hopefully making a better environment for people to want to access those parking lots.
Thank you for sharing that, Kaylin. Mim, I'll ask you one more question. Is there anything else that you'd like the people of Attleboro to know?
I'm going to pop that right back to you, Mike. So I want to know, since you've been doing this for a while, what your most surprising interview was.
Man, I've had a lot of powerful ones. A few that stick out spontaneously being asked this. I've never been asked that, so thank you. I learned so much from the fire chief. I really enjoyed that episode. He was very down to earth, but I had just learned a lot about keeping my family safe and keeping people safe and how firefighters work logistically. I thought that was so interesting. So definitely check out that episode if you have not. What is another one? Stacy Beal, Sundays with Santa. Her son, who battled cancer at a very young age, she took that terrible experience and has turned it into an amazing event, annual event each year where she raises money to help other children and other families who are in similar positions. Very powerful. I got to meet her. We went to the event with my family, had Sundays with Santa, put some money into the raffles. One thing that stuck out, and this is why I started the podcast, so I'm glad you asked. Stacy called me sent me an email the next day, and she said, "I just want to thank you for having me on the podcast." A listener showed up, told me they had never heard about the event, but they heard about it on your podcast, and they left the winning bid on a silent auction and left a very generous donation. I was like, oh, that is awesome. That is why I wanted to start this, just to promote positivity. So those two, and then Rocco Carlino, Nolito Carlino Foundation. He does so many good events for the city and raises money for scholarships for Attleboro high school students who are interested in the culinary arts. He's just an amazing man as well. Those would be the top three, and obviously Mayor DeSimone for being the first ever interview. I'd like to thank her because she helped me. I wanted to get immediate credibility, and she was so willing and open to and very transparent with me during our interview and just really down to earth. It was really cool to talk to her. So those are the four that stick out just off the cuff, but if we were to go through the list, I would tell you very vivid facts and things that I remember if we were to go through all 52 previous episodes. But yeah, thank you for asking.
And thank you for providing the platform, because it's not that easy for individuals to get access to the folks that you're mentioning. And it just shows that there's so much greater good that people are trying to activate here in Attleboro. And thanks for bringing that.
Thank you. It's been a fun year for sure. A lot of work late at night after getting home from my career, but worth every darn second. I wouldn't have changed anything. I thank both of you. Kaylin, I'll end with you. Anything else you'd like the people to know?
Yeah, Mim's question is so great to end your last episode, but yeah. I have to throw it back to downtown. Our businesses are the backbone of our downtown. Frequent them, visit them. I know how easy it is to order online at a Chipotle or a Jersey Mike's or anything like that, but go to Borough Bagels, go to Burgundy, and go to Morin's and its new gorgeous interior. He put so much time and effort into making that such a great new location for our downtown. Go to Skyrock for a beer instead of grabbing something from a 4-pack from your local liquor store. Not to say that those businesses aren't great, but our downtown deserves the attention as well. I know it's a little wacky with the way the streets are structured, which is why our slogan is just around the corner. But if you go just around the corner, you'll find something unique and fun. And there's a lot of different experiences to be had in our downtown, a lot of wonder that you can find. But honestly, our business owners really deserve the shout out.
Very well said. Kaylin Furtado, Mim Brooks Fawcett, thank you guys so much for being the final guests on the Life in Attleboro podcast. Appreciate you.